entertainment and information, but also for communication. They have developed into a universal art form that transcends all cultural differences.
The craft of filmmaking is teamwork. It involves close coordination of various skilled individuals. Acting, directing, producing, script writing, cinematography, sound recording, visual mixing, all forms part of filmmaking. A filmmaker is the captain of a ship and has to look at all aspects of filmmaking.
That's right, and with India's film industry being the largest in the world, the scope for employment is huge, but the industry is highly competitive as well. But if you have artistic and technical skills and possess the ability to convey ideas expressively, then this might just be the right field for you. Right, now before going into our very special discussion, let's take a quick look at some of the courses and colleges in Chennai to look out for. Right, now we have a diploma in direction and screenplay writing. Now this is a full-time course, the duration is 2 to 3 years. The eligibility, a graduate degree from a recognized university or any other equivalent degree.
There's also a diploma in cinematography. It's a full-time course which is between 6 months to 3 years. The eligibility for this would be a high secondary certificate with physics and chemistry or a vocational course with specialization in photography.
There's also a diploma in film processing, again full-time course, duration 6 months to 3 years, so there's a little bit of variety there. Eligibility, high secondary certificate with physics and chemistry or vocational course with specialization in photography once again.
Now if you have a ear for sound, quite literally, there's a diploma in sound recording and sound engineering. That's a full-time course which varies from 6 months to 3 years. The eligibility for this would be a high secondary certificate with physics and chemistry or a vocational course with specialization in television and radio. Well, joining us this morning on Rush Hour is Mr. Anand Krishnamurthy, who is a sound engineer, and he also taught at the L.V. Prasad Film and Television Academy, and Madhumita Vijay, she's a film director. Good morning and welcome to the show. Now tell us, what exactly is film studies all about?
Film studies in the sense that it's formal education in film, and in the Indian context, historically, film education has been fairly informal. You join as an apprentice to a senior technician or a director or a writer, and then you work with them, and that's how you learn the skills required for that job. But then if you're into formal education, it involves all the trappings of, you know, there's a course and there's a course reader, and then there are examinations and things like that. So but then again, the idea is to strike the balance, because generally film is not considered, unfortunately so, a course worthy of formal education, because they think, this is an artistic field, what can you learn in a classroom? Everything has to be, you know, you have to be inspired to be a filmmaker and things like that. But then there are a few things that you can learn in a classroom in a more formal environment. I would say classroom is, you know, putting it too narrowly, but in a formal environment there are quite a few things that can be learned.
Okay. Madhumita, coming to you, can you tell us a little bit more about why you decided to take up this course initially?
Well, after completion of my 12th, which is higher secondary, then I was into the arts. I was into the, you know, social issues and things like that, and that's what got me into film. And we started off with a short film, and a 4-year degree is just, as part of your course, you make a number of short films, which is how you learn on the job. And you know, as you make films, rather than sitting through, I mean, which is the perception that you sit through a lot of theory classes and what are you going to learn, but instead a lot of the courses are more on the hand, and you know, you learn on the job. And so that way, when you're going through film school, then second year, third year, you do plenty of short films, which enables you to decide what you're good at, what your strong point of focus is, what your talent lies in. Because like you rightly put it, you know, there are multiple fields in film which you can specialize in. And I can realize that I'm a good director, but I may not be such a talented writer, but maybe I'm good with photography. So, you know, it helps you decide and analyze what you're good at the same time exposing your talents to the rest of the world as well.
Anand, since you've taught at the L.V. Prasad University, I mean, Academy, tell us some of the courses available for students today.
The two big courses are direction and cinematography, which are two-year courses, and the 1-year course in editing and sound design, and that's how the stream is split. There again, you know, foundation courses wise, everybody goes through a similar kind of you know, intro, and there is especially at that place, it's quite interesting because it's within a studio campus, so which means you have access to facilities that the industry uses. So that was one of the biggest
Real
advantages.
hands-on experience.
Exactly, quite literally, and then you get to meet a lot of real filmmakers. So it's not far removed from what you would be doing once you graduate and go ahead and start working in the industry. So that was probably.
Right, now what are some of the basic things that one should keep in mind, before joining any course or selecting any institution? I mean, this is a question for both of you.
I think basically you should want to do film. I mean, I think it's the passion at the end of the day that matters a lot. And so that way, if you realize you do have the passion for film, then you can always look out for, like I said, each of those foundation courses always help you go decide which one you want. But at the end of the day, because film industry is something that's going to take plenty of time out of your life, and it's not a 9-to-5 job, and you're going to have to make a lot of compromises and a lot of adjustments to your regular life. And so having said that, you're going to have to make it all, you have to want to do it so bad that you're willing to go through all of it. So I guess that's the kind of mindset and the passion that you should have in order to be able to get there.
Be driven by that.
And then of course, it's continuing what she said. There are many little things that have to be taken care of, because from the outside it seems like something very simple and one person can handle everything. In fact, unfortunately our tradition has been directors who also write, produce, score the music, etc. So the perception is that filmmaking is simple and anybody can do it. Which is not the case. There are very specific jobs in the specialized areas. Even within writing, you can go ahead and you can be a specialist dialogue writer for all you know. You can just do that. You might not be great at creating characters, but you might be good at just writing the dialogue. Why not become a specialist in that? So there is scope for lots of little things, and that's something that it's good to be aware of that before you get into it.
But ideally, when a student passes out of the 12th standard, he or she realizes that this is what I want to do, films is what I want to do. But once they go to an institute, how do they exactly choose, okay, is it acting or is it direction that I need to get in?
So many options.
How do they decide?
Well, they have to go through the process. Like she says, foundation courses are very important because they give you tasters to what.
So do they need to do a prerequisite graduation in the
Ideally, if that would be very useful, because unless you know what it takes to do this, because again the common misconception is that, hey, I can't do maths, I can't do science, let me go do film. Which is very unfortunate, because to put it very bluntly, if you're incapable of learning, you're incapable of learning film. It's to be, you must be.
Nice way of putting it.
Yeah, it is. It's very crude. It's very unfair to many people. But the fact is this: if you do not have an aptitude for learning, you wouldn't be able to learn anything in a film school either. Because it is learning. You need to apply yourself. You need to be able to take instructions. You need to be able to follow instructions. You need to be able to, put together projects, take responsibility in your hands. So it is serious work.
Now, India caters to the largest number of films that are made, produced, whatever, looking at the world market. But despite the fact that that's there, that statistic is staring us right before our eyes. But do you find that more people stay here, to study a film and courses related to film, or do they prefer to go to a US or a